Okay, let's look at another problem here. What is the probability that if I randomly select 60 cars at random, 12 or more of them have a person talking on the phone? Okay, it's very much like the last question. Again, it seems like the situation is staying the same. I'm counting something. So if I had to write this using function notation, okay, let's look at another problem here. What is the probability that if I randomly select 60 cars, 12 or more of them have a driver talking on the phone? Okay, so we already established that this is binomial. Same kind of situation. I'm counting something. I'm counting, in this case, successes. Somebody's talking on the phone. Basically, a driver's talking on the phone, to be more precise. And I want to calculate the probability that x is greater than or equal to 12. Okay, so it's binomial. I'm ready to do my calculation. So I'm going to come over here, and now I realize that something is amiss, because Excel only can do 12 or less, or any number and less, not more. Again, what I want is 12 and 13 and 14, all the way up to 100. That's what I want. That's what I'm interested in. But Excel can only do the number or less. So I have to ask myself the question. I cannot calculate this directly, but what could I do then? I can calculate its complement. What is a complement of 12 or more? Well, the complement would be 11 or less. So 11, 10, and so on. So I'm headed in this direction, and that's going to be the complement. So the complement can be calculated using Excel. So I'm going to write equal to 1 minus the probability that x is less than or equal to 12. No, sorry, 11. That's what I'm looking for. So now when I go into Excel, that's exactly what I'm going to type in. I'm going to come over here, type equal to binom dist, but I would type 11, number of trials, 60, probability of success, 0.15, and lastly, true. And furthermore, I might as well do this in one shebang. I'm going to type 1 minus this. So this will calculate 11, 10, 9, all the way to 0. Subtracting from 1 will give me what I want, which is 12, 13, 14. Oops, and I need to correct this. Not a 100, but 60 is what I want. But I'll correct it later. So I get the 18, almost 18, well, a little more than 18%. I need to correct this to 60. That was my sample size. So 0.1806 if I round to 4 decimal places. So now let's do the same thing with the TI-83 Plus. I'm going to type 1 minus, and now I'm going to get my function again. I'm going to go to second, catalog. I'm going to click here on apps for activate the Bs. And you'll notice now that I have a one called binom CDF. CDF means to, again, cumulative, to combine. I'm going to select this one instead. Hit enter. So the CDF will do exactly the same thing that the PDF does, but again to combine, just like we did in the B problem. Hit enter. And now I'm going to type the number of observations. In this case, it's 60, comma, the probability of success, 0.15, comma, and finally the number of successes I want to witness, in this case 11. I enclose it, and again, just like before, this will be calculated, and I get exactly the same answer.